Hey guys, welcome back to more NCIS. We are on episode 14 of season 1. We are getting close to the end of the season already. Now then, the last one was the first one that I managed to figure out who and what and why before the show told me. It's taken that many episodes, which is a good sign. It means it's good writing, it's good stories. The banter and the comedy aspect is a perfect balance, and I'm just trying to get to know the characters, so I'm not going to hop on too much. We're just going to dive straight into episode 14.
Hi,
Helping a
is everything
stranded
okay?
motorist.
Can you just call AAA? My cell phone can't get a signal out here.
I'm a lieutenant commander in the Navy, stationed in Oceania. Just want to help, okay? I'm a dentist. I don't carry a gun.
Dentist?
I do.
It's my sister's number. I always use her as my emergency contact. Well, no, of course. I could get a number of somebody in town. It's just that
Trying to get your attention.
I'll have to call them first to make sure it's all right.
So what's going
A
on?
possible execution-style murder of a Navy lieutenant commander in Grayson County.
You know, I have call waiting for emergencies. I don't think Gibbs even knows what call waiting is.
Special Agent Todd DiNozzo. Our ME, Dr. Mallard.
What can I do for you?
I understand a naval officer was killed here last night.
That's right.
Since the victim was a naval officer, we'd like to take over the investigation.
Well, it isn't all the same to me, Jethro. A murder on a state road in my county? I don't think so. I'll handle the local investigation, but any prosecution will take place in Grayson County. It's an election year.
I've gathered.
This reminds me of the tale of the traveler. Yes, he saw the poor fellow, picked him up, carried him in his arms to an inn.
Okay.
This was unusual because the Sumerians were considered outcasts and of low moral fiber. Yeah, but from then on, he's been known as the Good Samaritan.
Man, you can
Ding
talk.
ding.
Ah, no exit wound. Based on the blood spatter, I'd say he was shot where he dropped. That's odd.
What?
His hands were bound after he died.
What's his story?
What do you mean?
Well, is he single, available?
Don't think you're his dad.
What's that cologne you're wearing?
Not wearing any. Got a tow truck we can borrow.
You are not even on his radar.
I need to know how to get hold of you.
Numbers on the card I gave you.
What about after hours?
No,
I actually find that interesting.
so do I.
How well do you know him?
Not very.
You're his commanding officer.
Commander Julius was a bit of an odd duck, if you know what I mean. Exactly.
Right,
He would
okay.
rather sit in front of a computer screen surfing for collectibles.
What kind?
I don't know. I could ask around.
Very functional.
Ah, yeah.
Got a nice computer.
Nice gear.
For the time, I got too many.
What do you think of this?
He got too many.
I got too many.
Fucking idiot.
He collects lunch boxes?
Ooh, that's
They're
different.
collectibles.
Yeah, but they're lunch boxes.
He always I think I may know what those numbers were on the computer post-it. He buys and sells lunch boxes on eBay.
His
We can check
eBay
his
ID.
feedback rating, see if anyone has a beef with him. Haven't you ever bought anything on eBay before?
We all have. I like that they do that in the show. They don't try and make shit up. It's Google, not Goggle, or it's eBay, not Fleabay, or whatever. You know how in movies a lot you get that where you're like, well, that's just meant to be a Google search engine or whatever company, whatever brand. And because they're not licensed by them, they have to just make shit up. I like that they are sticking with the actual brands and names and companies that we know. Granted, this is still only 2003. eBay hasn't been around that long. I
There was
don't
a
like
murder
her
2
already.
counties over, very similar to Commander Julius.
Who was the victim?
A David Truly.
If the sheriff is right, we need to figure out how the killer is choosing his targets.
Yeah, the trajectory was from left to right, indicating that the shooter fired from the left.
You know,
Anything unusual?
medical examiners are
rather
fascinated
straightforward,
with how
actually.
they work stuff out.
Unusual.
It's difficult to say. The bullet was a 9mm hollow point.
Can't be much more straightforward than that, Doc.
Nope.
Well, he bled out. The bullet was a particularly nasty form of hollow point.
Even if he made it to the hospital, Duck, he didn't have a chance.
Yeah, well, it wasn't an execution-type slaying. Not that it make any difference to Commander Julius, but
He do anything else?
Well, there's no sign of sexual abuse, if that's what you're asking.
This is the second time I filled it, and the first time I had it submerged in water. There were no bubbles. There was nothing wrong with this tire.
Any luck with the tire track?
Depends on your definition of luck. I ran the track through the Tread Assistant database. The CD-ROM has over 10,000 tire tracks for comparison. I did. But here's the bad news. This particular brand is like the prom queen of tires.
Do you have a list of the models that use that tire?
It's in your email.
It's going to be interesting to see if there's any difference, a visible difference, as to how they handle some of these cases and how quickly things come together as the technology progresses through the seasons, because I'm wanting to continue with this show way beyond season 1. Hope you guys are going to want me to do that. Because you just said all those tire models there. There's like 10,000 different tire models for every make and model of car on a CD-ROM. That would just be an online database now. So, you know, as things expand more with how the advent of the internet goes from where it was in the early 2000s to where we are today, it's mind-boggling as to how far everything has gone online and everything is searchable and referenceable, and to be able to cross-examine stuff. So I'm expecting the further in we get to get actually kind of like more complicated cases that need that rework.
I didn't get any hits on the prints. The interior is clean. There's no blood, there's no bodily fluid. There's just no way that this is a crime of opportunity.
Special delivery.
Wow. We never get this kind of cooperation.
Not a problem. Where's Jethro?
There you go.
Right here. Surprised is one word that does come to mind.
Case files and photos from the Halifax County murder.
And Charley put together a profile of the killer.
White male, age 25 to 34, of at least average intelligence, possibly a military background.
Doesn't narrow it down much.
They also recovered a slug, 9mm hollow point.
What's the condition?
It's too damaged to try and match.
3.0 liter, 225 horsepower, dual overhead cam. Oh, I love cars.
There's no flat. All the other victims' cars had flat tires.
A motorist called 911, said they saw a car pulled off the side of the road with the emergency flashers on.
Sure looks like the work of our guy.
Killed someplace else and dumped here.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Seems different.
Well, the details have all been in the press. It's nearly impossible to come to any other conclusion.
That means we have 2 killers on the loose.
Or a copycat, which is infeasible at this point because it's not known enough.
Female serial killer goes against the odds.
He's right.
What you thinking, doll?
Most men prefer hands-on killings, free of material evidence.
Which would account for why we found no shell casings or fingerprints.
Go through base records for any disgruntled civilian employees, dishonorable discharges, anybody with a chip on their shoulder. Gonna take a minute to think about that?
Yeah.
Any specific reason?
There's a laundry list. At the top, they're going through a particularly nasty divorce, yelling and screaming, each one accusing the other of cheating.
Any truth to that?
I can't speak for Laura.
Because he told you everything.
And I told him everything.
No, I'm sorry, I disagree. You may not keep any secrets as anything like that as regards your work and your job and your career, but there are plenty of people who have secrets that only friends and family know. Secrets that work and colleagues can know. And secrets that only they know. A lot of people lead not a triple life, but the secrets that they closely guard are entrusted to those that they feel comfortable with colleagues, friends, family. But there are certain secrets that they absolutely never, ever want to come out. And the best way to keep a secret is for the only person to know is you.
He had a very successful grandfather. He was the original U.S. importer of Swiss Army knives.
Jimmy was the beneficiary.
Along with his brothers and sisters.
When was the last time Jimmy saw her?
About a month ago, I think.
Doesn't make any sense that White would be going out killing others, though, if it was just that.
NCIS?
I may not have been in love with Jimmy anymore, but I still loved him. It got to the point where Jimmy would rather spend time out back in his woodshop than with me. Can we cut to the chase?
Yeah.
I read enough books, watched enough TV to know that when a husband is killed under suspicious circumstances, the wife is the first suspect, so... No, I didn't. I had a half-dozen errands to run. Dry cleaner, bank, supermarket, hardware store.
Would you be willing to give us a DNA sample?
No.
Absolutely.
Oh, really?
And I noticed something peculiar in his nose, so I did a swab. Well, sawdust, to be precise.
Hey, boss, don't you have some kind of weird thing about women and sawdust? I don't think it's weird.
Laura Seeger said that her husband had a wood shop out back.
No, that was recent.
Well, it could have been woodworking somewhere else.
Yeah.
Laura Seeger had 2 dogs in the back, but she seems to have a solid alibi.
They'd all be time-stamped.
Yeah, but if she was guilty, why would she just offer up her DNA so freely?
She's looking like the likely suspect at the moment.
What do you got for me, Em?
It's what I think it is. Something that's gonna rock your world. Ha!
You've matched it.
That's a match.
That's right. The left bullet, Ducky pulled from Commander Wade Julius.
Okay.
The right bullet was recovered not from David Truly, the victim from 2 counties over, but from victim number 3, Lieutenant Seeger.
There wasn't a copycat murder?
No. All 3 were committed by the same person.
You think Laura Seeger could have randomly killed 2 people to make it look like a serial killer in order to cover up killing her husband?
Yeah, 2 or 3. Are we doing on the DNA sample?
I just gotta...
I mean, that's going to an extreme to try and cover the one that you were actually wanting to be that you are responsible for, that you were wanting to kill, to commit extra murders, complete to appear random, to throw the authorities off thinking they were a serial killer because you have no connection to the others. Jesus.
They had 2 different cameras in the main lobby. I figured you might be able to doctor one, but not both. I stopped by Blockbuster in case those are boring. Got Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, God. Wow. Hours worth of voyage.
That her?
There she is.
I don't like her shoes.
2:33 p.m.
Ducky said the time of death was what, between 2 and 3?
Exactly when she said she was there.
Guess that means she's got an alibi.
That's the problem.
She couldn't have gotten from the bank to the murder site that quickly.
2 different angles, both of them locked. She entered the bank at 2:33 p.m. She left at 2:40 p.m.
All the timestamps would be the same. You just have to change one.
You think she had somebody inside the bank?
I think that was a rhetorical question.
Charlie, can you check out the bank for me?
Yeah, sure.
We need to find the murder weapon. Get me a sales receipt on the ammo. Ranger Talon is an uncommon bullet. What are you waiting for?
Yeah,
You finished with this tape?
Can I come in?
Of course.
I love
ran
making
down all
rock
your
stuff
errands.
out like this.
Any problems?
Nope. Nope.
All it shows is it was a hell of a lot easier to commit a crime 100 years ago than what it is now. With what we know now, not just forensically and on a medical aspect of the human body and how it works, but our deductive reasoning and our technology to be able to do something like that. I wouldn't have even thought of that, but it does make you wonder at times why there's still so much crime. Is it just lack of resources? Is it dramatization of TV showing that there are way more resources than they actually have in most places? Most departments, the police forces and everything don't have the personnel or the equipment and time to do this.
Found something unusual in his nose. Did a swab. Found 2 things. Sawdust and dog hair. We have a wood shop out back, right?
Yeah, I told you that.
And from the sound of it, a dog or 2.
Even though I told you he hadn't been here in a month.
You can see why.
I can. How did I do?
What do you mean?
You obviously told me that to see my reaction.
Yeah.
As I said before, I have nothing to hide. Unless you have nothing to match it to, and asking me was another test.
Imported Swiss Army knives.
Oh, I love everything Swiss. Knives, cheese, the Alps. I even like ABBA. Hey, boss. She crack under the pressure?
No. He's angry.
Laura Seeger has an ironclad alibi.
I know.
How's it possible they could match?
They can't. But they do.
I'm confused.
You said that my alibi checked out.
We're over 14 minutes into this. I don't know.
Based on the murder of David Truly.
I don't even know who that is. That's impossible.
Not according to the lab results.
What DNA did you find? Women don't urinate on the side of the road. Do they, Agent Todd?
You're saying that someone stole your urine while you weren't looking.
You neglected to tell me Lieutenant Seeger had filed a formal grievance against you. You treat Lieutenant Seeger's wife?
I treat a lot of people's wives.
Including Lieutenant Seeger's. NCIS has access to all military records.
His wife isn't military. She's a dependent.
Where were you between 2 and 3 p.m. Tuesday?
At a medical conference.
Where?
D.C.
We have two great suspects.
Green was in D.C. with witnesses.
Seeger is in the bank on video.
Well, if you believe Laura Seeger, then someone planted it. That was Darlene Records. I think I just got the answer to the mystery.
Let's hope we get there before someone else does.
I'm still on Is the Wife.
Put your hands where I can see them. Hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Thumbs up.
You've got to be kidding me. Well, shit.
The holy grail of dating.
The holy grail of getting away with the perfect
Although twins to
murder.
kill, not good.
I would never kill for my sister.
Yeah, you barely return her calls.
One for the books.
I bet Leroy was splitting the Swiss Army knife money with Linda. That's why Linda killed her sister's husband.
Well, I mean, the old saying, isn't it? No matter what happens when you reach an impasse like this, once you eliminate all possible causes, whatever remains has to be the truth. And this would be the only thing left that would make sense if everything else was as it appeared to be and checked out and verified. Because you can't be in two places at once. Unless you're a twin.
There is a group of people that I want to thank.
Oh, we're finally gonna get some credit.
I would like to express my deepest gratitude
Wait for it.
to the citizens of Grayson County for putting their faith in me.
You bitch.
Go ahead, doll.
It's an election year.
Yeah, he expected that. You don't get much thanks, do you, this group, at all? Right, I'll stop right there. I was going to say, usually it's the FBI that take all the credit for everything. That episode was just not working out at all, was it? I was wondering how the hell this was going to be revealed so fast because I knew we'd passed the 40-minute mark, thereabouts. Obviously, I have a timer on my recording, but it includes me stopping and starting and the intro and everything. So it's never accurate as to me knowing exactly how far in the episode I am, but it's close. I couldn't work it out. I knew she was fucking guilty, but what do you do when everything you check up on them says it's them, but their ironclad alibi can't be faked? They've checked the timestamps, they've checked the tapes. She was where she said she would be. Who the hell would have thought twins? But it's been done before. And identical twins, in particular, is one of those things that if you were to get a pair of twins who were probably got a very above average IQ, they probably could get away with murder because everything's identical, DNA included. That was good because even Gibbs was getting as frustrated as I was there because you're like, this just doesn't add up. That was a good episode. I enjoyed that. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get to hear any of Ducky's stories in this one, especially the one about the fucking jam donut on the face. I can see there's times when they allow us to get a piece of general knowledge that none of us know that he knows with his stories that he tells, that sometimes it gets worked into the episode and sometimes it's probably not a real story, so he gets a part way into it and then gets cut off. It's going to be interesting to see how the technology advancements over the last 20 years since this show first aired and this season 1 was made 20 years ago, just over now, how it changes the show. I'm hoping it doesn't change it in a bad way. I'm expecting it to do it in a positive way. Right then, I will be back with another 2 episodes again next week. So until then, guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you don't want to see me continue past season 1, the way to make sure that we do that is for you to let me know that you're enjoying this series. So please post your comments down below. Give me any tidbits of information. Try and keep the spoilers to a minimum. I would appreciate a sub. And I would appreciate if you were to check out the link in the description. That takes you to Patreon, and you can make your decision over there as to whether you want to watch these uncut episodes, including all the other shows that I've got on there. So then, see you for another 2 again in a week's time. Take care.